So this is a song that I think all of us can relate to. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Can you do the hands with me? I think the folks don't know it yet, so the kids, can you help them out? Ready?
Let's do that one again, okay? This little light, I'm gonna let it shine, okay?
Stand up a little closer. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Hide it or let it show.
I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it or let it show. I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it or let it show. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Okay, the next one is let it shine all over the world. Let it
Shine all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Again, the whole thing, okay? So start this one.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it or let it show. I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it or let it show. I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it or let it show. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Thank you, children. We'd like to invite the monastics up to offer a chant before the talk. Thank you. The children, if you want to go back to your seats in the front, thank you.
Vietnamese. We're doing basic. I'm so tall. Thursday off. That's a good question. We'll close it in. Do you need this? Contemplations before chanting. The Sangha is invited to come back to our breathing so that the collective energy of mindfulness will bring us together as an organism, going as a river, with no more separation. Let the whole Sangha breathe as one body, chant as one body, listen as one body, transcending the boundaries of delusive self, liberating us from the superiority complex, the inferiority complex, and the equality complex.
Stability of Buddha City is today we can see our way. We vow to love with all our hearts. We take refuge in the Dharma, ever present. The Sangha jewel is infinitely precious, a field of
So dear Sangha, I'd like to invite all the children to come close to us, because we will give a special Dharma talk to the children, especially the young, because you. So let us sit beautifully and with a straight back. You can sit in any position, but feel comfortable. And just smile, relax. Dear Thai, dear Sangha, today myself, Sister Phap, and Brother Phap Khoi, he liked to call himself Brother PK. And you can also call me, in Vietnamese, my name is Sister Nghiem, so sometimes you can also call me Sister Gioi for short. And we are sharing the Dharma Talk today. I'd like to ask all of you a question. Why do you come here for this retreat? Anybody? Why do you come here? Are you coming here to have fun? Yes? How many?
Lots of ideas, I know.
Yes, you're very shy this morning. Did your parents make you come here? Yes, okay. Okay. How many come here just to hang around the brothers and sisters and play with them? How many of you? Oh, okay. I see some adults hanging around with the brothers and sisters. That's nice. How many of you come here to get enlightened? Wow, few hands. I'd like to share a story that happened a very long time ago. There was a prince in the kingdom of India, His name is Siddhartha. We have a boy whose name is Siddhartha. Can you raise your hand? Yes, we have a young Siddhartha here. And so the Prince Siddhartha, growing up in the kingdom, he has like 4 palaces to enjoy and good food and everything you could think of. But he wasn't happy. He wants to find something else that is more liberating. So when he became an adult, he asked his father for the permission to leave the palace and to venture outside. And when he did that, he got to see like sick people and people who are dying and people who got very ill. And he see babies being born and they cry a lot. So when he returned to the palace that day, he couldn't sleep because all these things trouble him. Because in the palace, all he sees is happy people, and he doesn't see anybody dying and no funeral because everything was hidden away from the prince. So he became very unsettled and he wants to find a path. So he decided to leave the kingdom and to find a teacher. How many of you have a teacher in your school? Or, yeah, you all have a teacher, right? We're pretty lucky. We don't have to go find a teacher. We just have to come to the teacher, right? But Prince Siddhartha, he has to travel very far to find different teachers in order to learn the way to be awake, to be enlightened. So he found 2 teachers, and they taught him to be ascetic. So do you know what ascetic is? Huh? They really practice very strictly. They don't eat much, they don't drink much, they don't even shower much. Limit everything and just, being very strict on yourself so you could be enlightened. So Siddhartha, he went on like that. He just picked up the fruits that are falling from the trees and the nuts that are falling on the ground, and he ate those. And after several months, he practicing with those teachers. He got some insight, but he didn't get enlightened. So he found 5 other friends. They're called Kodana brothers. And he joined them, and they practice the same way, being very strict, not eating, not drinking, not bathing. So the Prince Siddhartha become like, what do you think he become? He becomes a skeleton. He becomes very skinny, and his eye is sinking, and all his hair fall off, and his beard was very long, and he couldn't even walk. So after a while, he thought, what I'm doing is so crazy. I must find some other way. So he wanted to walk to the village to beg for some food. But halfway, he fainted because he was so hungry. So there was this young lady from the village. She's the daughter of the chief of the village. Her name is Sujata. And we happen to have somebody whose name is Sanjata, right? Raise your hand. Yeah. What a coincidence. So this girl, every day, once a week, she will make offering to the forest gods in the forest. So she brought along like fruits and cakes and milk to offer to the gods there. So she passed by and she saw Siddhartha fainting on the ground. She She said, oh, must be one of those gods. So she tried to revive him by pouring milk into his mouth and open it and put milk in his mouth. And then after a while, Siddhartha started to quiver his mouth and sip some milk. And he got some strength back after drinking a whole bowl of milk. So he sat up beautifully. Can you sit up beautifully? Yeah. And he started to meditate. So Sujata thought that he was a mountain god, so she started to prostrate to him, many times. And then Siddhartha said, no, don't do that. I'm not a god. I'm just a normal being. And she said, but you look like a mountain god when you sit beautifully like that. So Siddhartha said, why don't you give me another bowl of milk? So she gave him another bowl of milk, and he drank it, and he got back his strength. And he said that, are your house nearby? Can I come and visit your parents, and I may go there and beg for food every day? And she said, yes. And thanks to her family that he was safe, and he continued to sit under the Bodhi tree for 49 days. Can you imagine sitting for 49 days? And he finally found the way out of birth, death, sickness, old age. So I want to show you the picture of the Buddha and of Siddhartha and Sujata. See how skinny he is? Yeah. Okay. So, when I was young, you know why I want to come to the temple? For the fruits. You see the fruits on the altar? Bananas and grapes and apples and oranges. So I love to come to the temple because the abbot always shares some fruits from the altar when I come. and one time, he actually asked his attendant to chop down a huge jackfruit. Have you ever seen a jackfruit? How big are they? They're huge, right? They're like a groundhog, almost. And this fruit is not hanging off from the branches at all. It's hanging from the trunk, the bottom trunk, because it's so heavy. And when you start to smell the fragrance of the fruit, then you can cut it down and you can eat it. So I love to come with my mom to the temple. Fruits. Stuck. And I start to love the atmosphere of the temple. It's very peaceful. It's very joyful. Do you like it here? Do you feel that it's peaceful here? Yeah? Okay. I have another question to ask all of you. What kind of creatures or animals live on land that can shine? Any of you know? Teenagers? Oh, yes. Fireflies. Okay, I was going to come to that later, but okay, what else? Yeah. Glowworms and about centipedes. Yeah. Frogs? I never saw one, but they might have glow. Bullfrogs. Oh, okay, the tadpoles. Okay. Okay. And which creatures in the sea glow? Huh? People glow? Okay. I was going to come to that later too. Yes? Yes, some fish, huh? They glow. Yeah? What's that? Trees. Wow, that is amazing. You know, actually, under the sea, we can only see blue light because it's the only light that can go down to the sea. Yes? Flowers, okay. Deer. Oh, no, in the ocean, yeah. Yeah, so shrimps, some shrimps, they glow, yeah? Huh? Coral. Yeah, it might have glow. Yeah, you all were very good answers. Give very good answers. So I want to tell a story. Yes? You have another? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they are green-eye fish, huh? Yeah. Anglerfish, okay. Okay, that's wonderful answers. When I was in Green Mountain Dharma Center, some monks and nuns, we lived in Green Mountain Dharma Center in Vermont before we come down here. And we moved away for about 2 months, and then some sisters and we came back there to clean up the rest of the things that we had there. And since we left the center for about 2 or 3 months, the grass grown so tall, as tall as her. And the wind comes, it just way back and forth very beautifully. And at night, you know what happened? There are hundreds of fireflies that flying everywhere, and they're twinkling very beautifully. And I remember that night when I go to bed, they're hanging out my window and twinkle. And some of them managed to come inside because of the screen. Some screen a little bit cracked, so they went inside and they blink all over the room. And first I was gonna bring them outside again, but I thought, oh, okay, I'm just gonna enjoy those lights. It's like night light, you know? And they twinkle very beautifully. And that's the first time I ever saw fireflies. They're so beautiful. So I'm gonna tell you a story about, you know, how did the firefly get its light? You ever wonder why? Okay, I'm gonna share with you. So one time in the forest, there were many animals living there, but the animals, they couldn't sleep very well because the sun and the moon were both on the sky. Can you imagine that? Both the sun and the moon on the sky all the time. So then the animals began to complain to the sun and the moon. The elephant said to the sun, I can't sleep because you're always in the sky, brother sun. And then the zebra say, I can't get up because Sister Moon, you're always in the sky. So the son, since he's an elder brother, he started to think very deeply. And he's trying to find a way so they can let the animals sleep. So the son say, okay, I had an idea. Why don't the animals in this forest find a way to help us, the sun, the moon, to know when we can get up and when we can fall? So they asked the lion, Mr. Lion. So, Mr. Lion, can you help us to know when we need to get up and when we need to fall? And Mr. Lion said, I can't, I'm too busy hunting. And then they saw the monkey. And they asked the monkey, and the monkey said, I can't because I'm too busy. I'm too busy gathering the fruits. So all the animals, they find all different excuses to not having to wake the sun, the moon up. They're all busy. Can't imagine, huh? They're very busy. So there was one fly, it's called a dull fly. It's very dull, very plain, very boring. And this fly, all it does is sleep day and night. So the sun wakes the fly up and say, hey, wake up, dull fly. This is a dull fly. Say, wake up. We need to have somebody to signal us when to wake up and when to fall. And the dull fly say, I'm so little. I don't think I can help you, brother sun. And then the sun gets so angry. He just say, yes, you can do it. And I will show you how. So he sparks out a piece of his light, and it gets stuck on the tail of the dull fly. Say, now, see, you have a light. So when dawn comes, you can blink the light, so I know when I could come. And at dusk, you can blink the light, so Sister Moon know when she should come. So this is the dull fly. Actually, now he has become a firefly. He has a bright light at his tail, huh? So that's how the firefly got its bright light. You ever seen a firefly before? How many have seen it? Wow, a lot of people. I think last night I saw some firefly coming out. If you sleep in the tent, you might be lucky to see one, huh? Or a few. Oh yeah, you saw one last night too. Okay, that's good. I have another story of the fireflies. Okay, there were some little bugs that come outside to play. And they play all kinds of games. What games do you play? What games do you play? Huh? Scissors? What game do you play? Huh? Soccer? What other games are you playing? Did you play? What do you like to play? Tag? Okay. So these little bugs were playing all kinds of games. And they were having a good time. Playing tag and tug of war and jump rope and scissors and all kinds. And then there comes a swarm of big bugs. And they wanted to play too. So they chased all the little bugs away. And the little bugs try and try, but they couldn't get their space back. So they got very upset and very sad. So they have to play in a little corner. So the night came, and there were some stars and moon. The moon was shining very brightly. So the little bugs could see a little bit to play some games, but they could not see each other so well. And they were complaining, and the fairies came out to play. So the fairy queen, she came by and she asked, what's wrong? You know, why are you so sad, and why are you talking so much to each other? So they say that, you know, the big bugs, they chase us away, so we have no space to play, and we want to have some space to play. So the fairy queen, maybe if you could help us to play in the night, because during that time the big bugs are away and we can play. So the fairy queen said, okay, I'll have it. I'll give you this little light. so that at night you can come out and play and you can still see each other. So that's how the fireflies got their bright tails. Okay? So in your daily life, even though we're human, somebody say human glow, right? Even though we might not see that people are actually glowing, but there are still light in each one of us. You know, we have wisdom, we have insight. When you are sad and your mom comes to comfort you, you know, that's like the big Buddha coming to help you, right? Or when your friends are sad and you come to comfort them, you're like the little Buddha to help your friends, right? So when we're able to stop and breathe and recognize the faces of our beloved ones, recognize what we are doing, then we can cause less harm to each other and we can protect each other. So when you go out to play, make sure you watch out for your younger brothers and sisters. Let them have their space to play also, and also if they need some help, you can come by and help them, right? Because you have this Buddha nature in you, or Christ nature that you can touch and can make it glow. Okay? So now I want you to sit beautifully, and we're just going to do a short breathing exercise. All right? Okay, sit up beautifully, please, before we go outside to play. So breathing in, you can close your eyes just for a brief moment. Breathing in, I see myself as a flower. Breathing out, I feel fresh. Flower, fresh. Breathing in, I see myself as a mountain. Breathing out, I feel solid. Mountain, solid. Breathing in, I see myself as still water. Breathing out, I reflect things as they are. Still water, reflecting. Breathing in, I see myself as space, as a big blue sky. Breathing out, I feel free. Space, free. So thank you for practicing with me and for listening to the talk. Before you go outside, this is for the children. Can you come up to get it? For the young one. You can do the coloring later. And for the older one, I want you to, if you like, you can make the image of somebody who you feel that is awake is enlightened. It could be an animal, it could be an object, it could be a person, and make a small image, and you can put it in your pocket. So sometimes when you forgot your Buddha nature, you can take that out and remind yourself that you have a little Buddha inside. Okay? Thank you very much. So when you hear the small sound, the bell, we stand up and bow to the Buddha, and then bow to the brothers and sisters and the Sangha before we go outside. Thank you.
So we stand and place our hands on our abdomen and feel the breath, the in-breath and the out-breath. And then one movement is we raise our arms to the sky and stretch as we breathe in. And we lower them as we breathe out. One more time. Okay, in the next movement, we put our hands on our shoulders and then we stretch as we breathe out. And then we bring them back as we breathe in. Make sure you don't hit your neighbor. One more time. And the next movement, we raise our arms and we lower ourselves down, trying to touch our toes, but only go as far as you can comfortably do so. Otherwise, just relax and keep your back straight. In. And come up. In, out. Keeping your back straight and your legs straight. In. One more time. And then the last one is we put our feet together, our heels together, put our hands on our hips, and then keeping our back straight, we lower ourselves with our knees and only go as low as you can do so comfortably. And then when we go up, we rise out of the ball of our feet. There's a lot of popcorns popping out there. If you keep your back straight, you won't fall over. One more time. Okay, please have a seat. So let us enjoy our in-breath and out-breath with one sound of the bell. So, good morning, dear teacher, dear brothers and sisters, dear families, dear friends. Thank you for being present. Thank you, our sister, for giving the special talk to the children. I was hoping that she'll remain up here with me and share some more things. It's quite hot up here. I'm sure down there also. I'd like to welcome all of you again to the retreat. This is, we call it summer retreat or family retreat. And in 2 days, Plum Village will also have host families in France. And there they will have the retreat that would last 4 weeks. And there are families that could come for 1 week or 2 weeks or even the whole month. And there's a lot of festivities there. And I also feel blessed that we are able to organize a similar event here in New York for everyone to come, and especially the children. During the family retreat, we have many different families or configurations of families that convene at Blue Cliff to share this wonderful space. And I've seen families with 1 child, 2 children, 3, 4 children, families with a dad and a mom, some families have 2 dads or 2 moms, some families have only 1 mom or 1 dad, some are mixed families, mixed race children or mixed marriages. Some families have adopted children, and some children adopted their parents. Some families that will only have the parents here and not the children, and some families have only the children here but not the parents. So there are many different scenarios, different situations and circumstances, but we're all here together. And so we look out for one another. So yesterday I shared in my Dharma group, for those of us who have children here, of course we look after our children, but also we can extend that care to others' children, to the other children in our children program, so that everyone feels included. We have in this retreat around 20 plus young people, children and teens, who are here from Massachusetts, I believe, right? And most of them don't have their parents here. We have a couple of monastic sisters from the temple up there, Huelam, brought them down, and it was their job to look after and take care of these wonderful young people. So I asked that you could also extend a hand in helping them to enjoy the retreat with us. There is a wonderful teaching that the Buddha discovered. He didn't invent it, he discovered it because it is something that is part of life. It's the very fiber of the fabric of living. And it's called impermanence. Many of us know what impermanence is, or we might have different interpretations for them. But basically it means changes. It means everything changes. Nothing stays the same. So if we have not learned this teaching, please do so. Make time to learn about impermanence. And we actually don't have to learn a lot. If we just pay attention, we will see it, we will experience it, because it is very apparent, but we have to pay attention in order to see it. Hot days turns into cooler nights. The sun comes up, the sun goes down. Your children grow. You grow older. Your parents grow older still, passing away perhaps. And sometimes this order can be different. Sometimes children pass away before their parents. So all of these are signs of impermanence. And it is more apparent, especially when someone's entering the teen years. All of a sudden your body change. All of a sudden your mood change, and your moods can be there, or the different moods will come in just within a couple of seconds or minutes, if not minutes. So, and you find that you have no control. And you might get irritated, you might get confused. But it is also a part of impermanence. Things change, and you change. So if we're able to acknowledge this simple truth, to accept it, then we will have much less suffering. We will suffer much less. We suffer a lot because, I think, because we don't want to believe that things are impermanent. We believe that things are permanent. We want things to be the same, especially the things that we like or the people that we love. We don't want them to ever change. And then the things that we don't like, or the people that we rather not associate with, we reject them. We don't want to be near them. Or if we have a difficult situation, we wish them to not be there. And so we have this grasping and also rejecting relationship with the things around us and the people around us. And that's what makes us suffer, because we don't feel satisfaction. Why can't I be close to the one that I love all the time? And why do I have to be with those whom I dislike all the time? And then we have this struggle going on because we want things to be a certain way, but things can't be the way we want all the time. And so if we understand the teachings on impermanence, we can resolve a lot of issues, and we can endure and tolerate much more things than we think we could. So that's briefly about impermanence. I like to share with you a few modes of interaction. I'm not sure what to call it, interaction or operation, but I'll explain it so you get an idea. There seem to be like 3 modes of operation that we incorporate to deal with things and with people. There might be more, but I just wanted to simplify them down to 3 steps, or three modes. And one is the autopiloting. Many of us functions that way in our daily life. We just react. It's much easier. And so we do things autopilot. We react, we drive sometimes on autopilot. We do many things autopilot. We can watch TV and not understanding what we're watching, but we just keep watching because it's a habit. And another mode is awareness. We're adding awareness to the picture, or we can call it appropriate attention, or we can call it wholesome actions, or good intention. And this second mode of interaction means we put mindfulness, we put awareness in our interaction, so that we don't operate on an autopilot, in the autopilot mode. So we have more of a focus, and this is positive focus or wholesome focus, because that's also the opposite. And so this second mode, we have to learn and we have to train, and it's doable. And then the third mode is it's a little bit subtle. It is equanimity or inclusiveness, meaning we transcend the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, but we just flow with things. We still have good intentions, but there is no element of attachment in this mode of operation. The second mode, there's a little bit of attachment, a little bit of intention. I want this, I desire this, even though it is good or wholesome. But the third mode, we remove that altogether and just be, just flow. And that mode can also be done. We can do that also. And these three, they inter-are because we might be operating in any of these three throughout the day. Sometimes we'll, hopefully not most of the time, but sometimes we operate in the first kind of the mode. We do things with awareness. And that's what we're trying to do at the retreat, putting mindfulness into everything that we do. And sometimes we operate in the third mode too. And so the point is not about rejecting one and just doing or focusing on the other, but it's more how to be aware of how we're operating, which mode we're in. Maybe a little bit of this, a little less of that, but it should be flexible. I will give an example, hopefully to illustrate these three modes. I went to the store and this is hypothetical, but it could be true. And I saw a beautiful vase of flower like this one, and I wanted to own it. So I purchased it, and I brought it home. And I just left it there. And within 3 days, it dies. And then I feel sad because I unconsciously wants to believe that because it's so nice, it's so beautiful, that I think that it will last forever. And because I'm so busy, I neglect it. I trust that it will just stay like that the first time I bought it. And because I want to own it, but then I don't take care of it. I went on autopiloting, taking care of something else, or being busy. And then after 3 days, it dies. And then I suffer. The second mode would be if I were to buy the same potted plant, appreciate its wonders, but at the same time, being aware that it is impermanent, that it would someday be gone. But I can, with awareness, I can make it last longer. Nurture its health by watering it a couple of days, every couple of days. Or with orchids, maybe just once a week. And then have some time to actually sit and enjoy the wonder that are flowers. I can't make this. This is nature. So if I have some time, I can appreciate its beauty, and I put good intention into taking good care of it. Some people sing to plants also. Appropriate attention. So when at some point, maybe not 3 days, but a week, a month, or 2 months later, it will have to pass away. It too has to follow the law of impermanence. But I won't feel so sad because I've done my best to take good care of it, and I enjoy it for all those time. The third mode, equanimity, would be I can enjoy wild flowers in the forest or in the fields without having the need to bring them home, to own them, or to cut them. And they last a lot longer in nature. So if I have time and space, I can come out. If I found there's a patch of flowers in the forest or in the fields, I can come and just enjoy it and not feel attachment, not feeling the need to own, to take it home. And then, and also knowing that it too is impermanent, but we let it run its course. And so I don't suffer because I don't have an expectation that I need to own it, and that if it dies, I will be sad because why would something I own disappear? But if I don't own it, I can still enjoy, but then I don't feel afflicted when it's no longer there. So I hope the flower story or analogy illustrate what I'm trying to share with you. Let us enjoy one sound of the bell. Now the question I would like to ask you to reflect on, and hopefully we can share in our Dharma sharing group this afternoon, is which mode of interaction you find yourself using during your daily life, in your daily life. First mode, or second, or a third, or a combination of all three. Something that we can reflect on and see how, if we've done too much of the first one, maybe we can adjust it down and then put more effort into the second or the third. For our young people, which mode do you operate concerning your interaction with your parents? Anyone have a shout out there? Autopiloting. You guys agree, generally speaking? Somebody shook their head. All three. All right. Please continue to reflect. You can do an exercise, say you go home, or even in the retreat. Be aware or recognize, or even if you want to write it down, how you interact with your parents if they're here. Or if they're not here when you go home, just give yourself an exercise for the whole day. Just go through the whole day and be aware of how you interact with your parents and write it down. Oh, I was just autopiloting with my mom. Or I was in mode 2, having awareness. Or I was in mode 3. Mode 3, equanimity, doesn't mean indifference. There's a difference between those two. Being indifferent and being equanimous. There's still caring, there's still love, but there's very little attachment, if not attachment at all. And how about our parents? What mode of interaction do you find yourself often use when you deal with your kids? And even dealing with each other. Are you autopiloting also? Or, I don't know, you want to put into percentage, how many percent of each, and which you want to increase in percentage and which you want to lower. And friends, when you interact with your friends, are you present? Are you there for your friends? Or are you also autopiloting? Or are you being inclusive? I know as young people, especially in school, there's a lot of bullying going around. It's always been there. And sometimes we find ourselves being bullied. And sometimes we are the person that bullies another person, whether we do that intentionally or not. So it's something that for us to reflect on. Are we kind of have a clique in our group of friends and we're rejecting another person? Or are we able to open up and include the other kid into our circle? Something to reflect on. It's all about these modes of operation. So impermanence is the sort of like the underlying of everything. And then these modes of operation that we utilize, whether we are aware of it or not. But if we're able to maintain the awareness of impermanence in all of that, then we will know how to interact in a better way that can benefit both ourselves and others. And so how does the practice of mindfulness help all of this? We've been learning about how to do walking meditation, how to practice breathing, mindful breathing, and also eating meditation. So these practices help us to cultivate the energy of mindfulness. And when we have some amount of mindfulness, then we will have a chance to recognize what mode we're operating in, and perhaps adjust or change. There was also a teaching on consumption. and being mindful of what we consume, also contributing to living our life more mindfully. And I hope I will just mention it here briefly, and hopefully in the next few days we will learn more about mindful consumption. I think tonight there will be a session on 5 mindfulness trainings, either tonight or tomorrow night. And mindful consumption is part of that practice. But basically, if we are aware that if there's input, there's output. Whatever we consume, we sort of become that, or whatever we consume affects us. And we, in Buddhism, we are taught that there are 4 kinds of nutriments or foods that we consume. The first kind is very obvious. The first kind is food that we eat, that we take in through the way of the mouth. And if we practice a little mindfulness, if we breathe and be mindful, and we have a chance to look at the food and see what we're actually ingesting. Is it going to be good for us, or is it going to make us feel not so well later on? And so mindfulness gives us a chance to reflect and to assess, to see whether we want to go ahead and eat this if we know that it's going to cause us trouble. And if we knew, I think most of us are well aware that if we knew something that's not good for us, we probably don't want to ingest them. But sometimes it could be because peer pressure. It could be because of this, because of that we go ahead and do it anyway. But then we suffer later. And so if we have more awareness in our daily lives, we can decide for ourselves what we want to take in, so that we can nourish not only our bodies but our minds too. And the second type of foods is called sense impressions, and that means everything that we take in by way of the eyes, by ways of the ears and the nose. Meaning sights and sounds and fragrance. And this, the people out there, they're very good at offering us the movies, the photos, the images, music. These in themselves are not bad or good. They're quite neutral. But it's the way that we consume them and our choices and the way they affect us individually that makes them good or bad to us. And so we have to be careful. We have to know what is good for us and what is not good for us in order to make a wiser choice. And then the third kind of nutriment is called volition. In other words, it's your will to do something, your desire to pursue something. And we all have that as a source of nutriment. That's what drives us. That's what keeps us going, keeps us making progress. But if we're not mindful, or if we don't have awareness, we can let whatever it is that we feel like benefits us actually lead us astray. And so again, being aware of what our will is, what our motivation is. Is it wholesome or is it unwholesome? Is it beneficial for us and for others, or is it not beneficial for us and for others? Many of us encountering or approaching college or approaching high school, or approaching a career, and we all have this drive, or I wanted to succeed, I wanted to go to this school, I wanted to get this job. There's nothing wrong with wanting those. But are we aware of what we're running after? If we're aware, and if we feel that drive, that motivation is actually causing us a lot of suffering, or causing us anxiety, then maybe we can reflect. And there is another way of doing so, of pursuing those dreams and intentions, but not at the cost of damaging our body and our mind. And so we can reflect and find a better way to do it. It's not about not following those dreams or not following our wish. It's how we do it, that we can retain our freshness and our calmness and our joy and peace. And then the fourth one is consciousness. Another way to understand it is it's sort of like we call it a collective consciousness or a group consciousness. It's something that, for example, a group of meditators will want to come together to meditate. And they nourish one another with meditation, with the support. And so that action, that time and effort that they put together is the food of the consciousness. It helps feeds them, makes them feel more supported and more enriched. And at the same time, a group of addicts will come together and indulge in their addiction. That's also consciousness, that's also food of consciousness, but it's damaging to them. And also, again, these four types of nutriments in themselves are neither good nor bad, they're just neutral. But it's the choice that we make of whether, and also the amount and intensity that we consume them could be detrimental to our health or not. And we have so many examples out there of how people consume these four kinds of nutriments and how these affect them. And we can learn from those examples of knowing what to do and what not to do. Our parents are our prime examples. So again, hopefully we'll get a chance to go deeper into these teachings so that we can apply them in our daily lives for the benefit of ourselves and others. Let us enjoy another sound of the bell just to let everything settle. I think it's time to stop. I hope that you take this time. It's a wonderful thing to have a week-long retreat so we can actually relax together and then learn and practice together. And so I hope you take this opportunity to put aside your I things. It's only for a week, so that's just 5 days. Just put them away and then enjoy the presence of one another. There's so many young people here, so many wonderful people that we can be in touch with and we can learn from. And so just give our gadgets a break. I think they need the break also. So turn them off, put them away, let them rest, and then we interact with one another. I'm sure you will learn a lot from one another. And at the end of the retreat, your gadgets will still be there. And you can pick them up if you want, or you can even leave them. And then at home, intermittently, you can turn them off and just breathe. But I think it'd probably be easier here because there's so many people around you can hang out with that we don't need to hang out with your things. And yes, so take the time to enjoy nature, to enjoy one another, and just to enjoy your own breathing. Come back to your breath. Your breath is your best friend. They're there with you since beginning. And they'll be there with you until the end. And so be friend with your breath. And your breath can help you a lot. So thank you for your patience, listening, sitting for more than an hour and a half. Let us enjoy 3 sounds of the bell together and take this opportunity to be with our breath, our best friend. Breathing in, we are aware that there is an in-breath. And breathing out, we're aware that there is an out-breath. Thank you.